Right, it's been a few days since I've worked on the shed. I've pottered to kind of make sure the roof is properly secured. The next job is to get the felt on top. This normally wouldn't be a problem because I just climb on top of the roof and put the felt on. The issue I have here is the roof is really long, and I've got this felt here, which is reasonably weighty. And if you've seen the first video, gosh, that is heavy. How tall the shed is. You can see it's really tall. And I've got to somehow get the felt down this roof and nailed down. And it's in a roll. It's about one roll's length. And if I just slide it out, I think it will just slide off. So I'm going to build a mechanism that allows me to basically put the felt in a roller, in some kind of cartridge that dispenses it across the top so that I'm not having to worry about it sliding off. And then all I need to worry about is not letting myself slide off. I'm going to manufacture a thing. I think this will be exciting. It might be overkill. See how it goes. So here's what I'm thinking. I've got various ingredients. I've got some pipe, a skateboard, this pallet, love a pallet, some rope, random pulleys. What I'm thinking is I'm going to attach the skateboard wheels to this pallet so that this can roll horizontally down the length of the shed. I might put this pulley here in some way, shape or form to kind of support it so that I can lift it up and down the shed. Haven't worked that one out yet. I can then screw this pipe in and that can go through the middle of the felt and it will roll off. That's the plan. I don't know, making it up as I go along. Let's see how we go. The wheel has like this divot in, so I'm going to need to kind of pad it out. I'll just use some nuts. Just screw through here. It's a little bit, there'll be a bit of play, but it won't be the end of the world. And I've got enough nuts here, maybe, nuts, hilarious. I reckon 3 nuts. And then I can just screw that into the end and that wheel will run absolutely beautifully. This rope, I'm basically on the apex, on the very pointy bit. I'm going to run a loop of rope, a belt if you like, and I'm going to put a pulley at each end on the roof, attached to the roof, screwed in, rotate that rope back and forth, and then this will be slung off of that rope. If there's a way I can cleverly rig this, roofs like that, the dolly's going backwards, down and forth, but also I can lift it up and down. If I can get X and Y movement, we'll be living the dream. I love living the dream. I think I've got a plan, and it's different to the one I initially had. Imagine this is one end of the roof, so the apex up there, and then the other end is down here, and you've got another pulley kind of sitting there, and these are screwed into the roof of the apex, and then this is just a loop. And effectively, it runs through this pulley, which is attached to this thing, and the felt's on here, and you can therefore kind of track it back and forth. The problem is, as you get away from each apex point where it's picked up, this is going to drop, and so it's going to go downwards, so I need to somehow pull it upwards. And my initial thought was to have some kind of thing in here that kind of could cinch it in. But actually, if I get rid of this pulley at this end, just tie this to the structure of the shed, have a pulley at the far end. So what you're actually doing is you're making this loop larger and smaller, and then that's fixed there. Your loop kind of droops down the shed. You'll see it when it's working. If I want to move it, I just slide it along with my hand. If it's shifting down the roof, if it's sliding down, I can pull the winch up, which will effectively make this loop shorter, lifting it up the roof. I'll show you. Okay, so the next day, I had to abandon yesterday because it's down this end of the shed, trying to get the ladders in here to put a pulley up on the apex there. I think there might be a wasp's nest in here because I got stung a few times and there were a few wasps around, and then I ran away and cried a little bit. Oh, my shirt, it looks like I'm going out, but if I put my button up higher, it looks like I'm going, I don't know, it's hot. I'm going to go out and I'm just have to live with it. I'm sorry for anybody that hates the look of the top of my chest. Right, cracking on. No wasps this morning, so maybe it was just a little like wasp love affair, perhaps. They'd found a cosy place around the backside to woo one at each other and wasp kiss. And then I came around and they just gave me a bit of a stinging. Yeah. Okay, so I was going to put this pulley on the apex, and this is basically was going to act as the return. The rope's going to run down the roof, through the pulley, back down the roof. It's going to be fixed at one end, which will allow me to tighten or loosen it to lower and raise the caddy cassette. Should we call it the felt cassette? I quite like the sound of that. Felt cassette is quite 1980s kind of techie, retro. I don't know. Anyway, I was going to use this tiny pulley. Problem is, it's got tiny holes. These 6 screws barely fit through it. And it's going to have quite a lot of tension on it. So I'm going to use this one. I'm actually going to put it on the far side, rather than put it on the apex. The rope sort of comes over the apex and down. I think that'll give me more oomph, more angle, more leverage to oomph it over. Anyway. When I was up on the roof, sitting on that ladder up there, it's really uncomfortable. I'm an old man, I'm quite scared. If I break, I don't fix quickly. So I'm just going to put the pallet up there. It's flatter, should be more comfortable to sit on. I'll show you what I've got so far. We've got this line here, nice bowline here. Goes all the way down to the other end of the shed, through those trees, and then the line comes back down on this side. It's got this carrier pulley, which is going to be attached to the cassette, and then it's got this pulley at the end so that we can tighten this rope. And what will happen is, as the cassette drops down, let's say, as you tighten it, we can lift the cassette up. We need to modify the cassette now because there's a design flaw with the way I did it yesterday, so let's do that. The problem I have with my cassette is the roller felt's going to sit on this black pipe. This is where the bottom of the felt will be. But if you look, bottom of the felt here, and I've got this bit of wood and then the wheel, and this needs to sit on the edge of the shed roof. The problem is I need the felt to be hanging over the edge of the shed roof by about 100 mil, about here. So I need to find a way to move these wheels up here so that this can overhang the edge and the felt will not twist. So I'm gonna do that. That's my thinking face. So I found this. This is a go-kart of sorts that I made my boys a long time ago out of a scooter, some skateboard wheels in the front. I'm going to reuse this. I'm going to make this work. That's what I'm going to do. Yep. So I need to screw this to the edge of the pallet, like this. So here's the edge of the pallet. I basically need to mount the wheels there. And obviously, if I screw it like that, that wheel will hit that. So I was thinking I'll just pad it out with some blocks. Actually, if you can see where with the go-kart, that bolt got bent, I'm just going to mount it at an angle like that, because this is just a temporary thing. I'm only going to use it once. Life is too short. Or is it? I see these YouTube videos of people doing things so well, and I just hack it together. Do you know what? I am the representative for the hackers out there. And you see these life hacks where they do it really nicely. But sometimes I just want to get it done really quickly, and I'm about speed and effectiveness. And that's what I'm going to do today. And for any of you that just hack it together and it doesn't look great, but it works, it's okay. It's absolutely fine. Hackers unite. Yeah, so what we've got here, nicely screwed on, wheel spins, lots of clearance from the corner of that wheel to that wheel. I think this is going to work a treat. Okay, next step is I'm going to get the pulley that's on the rope. Done a nice little figure of 8 knot in the end there. Used that a lot in my theatre days. So I hope we can get the pulley down here and to attach it on the end of this so that it's kind of, I'm going to put a bit of wood across the top. A bit of wood across here to screw it into, I think, but we'll do that in a sec. Don't know if you saw where it fell when I pushed it off the edge of the roof, but the pulley fell right there, and I needed to be lined up to the middle. That was serendipitous. Oh, I could just live the dream and put it there. Is that too much dream to be lived? If I put it in the edge of this bit of wood, I mean, it's just, it's so naughty. But you know what? I'm totally going to do it. The dream will be lived this way. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Oh, this is so dirty. I think you should look away. X-rated. It's just not right. It's just not right. But it is done. Super soft timber. These are American pallets, so they're really, nothing wrong with American pallets, by the way. I'm not anti-American pallets, but they're really light compared to European pallets. And they're really made of really soft wood. So kind of, it's nice and easy to screw into, but it does also mean not huge strong. Right, so now you can see what's going to happen. You know, if this is the roof, things rolling on it like that, it's being supported like that. I know it's off to one side. The weight is here, so it might end up tilting. I might have to adjust that. Do you know what? I'm gonna guess that is gonna need to be slightly off center for the weight of the pallet. I could have picked it up by 2. Do you know what? I'm making this up, guys. Just chill your tits. It'll be fine. I reckon off-centering it a bit, because most of the weight will be here, but obviously there's a bit of pallet over here, and I want to try and get this as centered as possible. So, because yeah, there's an easy way to test that. I could whack the felt on here and lift it. Let's do that. This rope is in no way rated. So. It will stretch like nobody's business. Oh, I totally pushed that. Whew. Oh, it's all a bit. Okay, there we go. All right. Pop a screw in that to make sure. Right, now. Oh, I think I've nailed it. Look at that. That is... Come on, you gotta admit, that was pretty good. Judge that perfectly. You know, penicillin was discovered by accident. So, you know, I might discover some kind of world-saving thing by doing this. I guess the guy doing penicillin was doing a more thorough job than just hacking stuff together. The guy, so ignorant. Comments in below who discovered penicillin. Right, I've got to get this up on the roof. So, got to get that up there, get the rope tightened, whack the felt on it, and start to see if this works. Is that not the most glorious thing you've ever seen? Right, I do think the winch will be useful to help shimmy it along or kind of tighten it up so that I don't have to keep tightening the knot. I don't know, the winch might be overkill, but I'm going to set it up anyway. I don't need double purchase on that. I just couldn't be bothered to take the pulley off because you have to undo a bunch of bolts. But also, having the half speed might be useful when making micro adjustments. Right, so all this is going to do, as the dolly seems to drop down, I'll come around here and just nudge it up. That rope's got so much stretch in it, it could just snap. Who knows? Who knows? But I think we are about ready to commence the felting operation. Yeah, let's give it a whirl. So first run is done. As I say, I think I could have done it without the trolley, although the trolley gave me confidence the felt wasn't going to fall off and it kind of was okay. But what I think the trolley is going to be really useful for is getting this top bit on. But I think I'm going to have it run across the apex. So actually those two wheels here, these wheels here, will actually run on this side. The trolley will be on this side, but the wheels will be on this side, which will hook it, which will stop it sliding downwards, which was the problem I was having here, which will be really useful for up here, because this is that bit I can get to from ladders. This middle bit's really hard to get to without climbing on the roof, and I'm trying to avoid climbing on the roof. So that's my next gig. I'm gonna disconnect the pulley, flip the trolley around, unscrew those wheels, screw them on so they fit over this angle. I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So I need, don't know how much you can see from that angle, I need the felt to overlap, so I need to lower it down. So I'm going to take off this wheel. That screw is knackered. Feels like it might actually work. Right, so I've still got the pulley down at that end of the roof on this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tie the bit of the rope that was attached to the winch to this end. So when I pull on this bit of rope, it'll basically go around there and it will pull it this way. That way it keeps me away from the wasp nest, which is nice. Yep, so I can now shift that along from this rope. Yep, okay. Next gig is to load the felt and screw it all back in. The weight of the felt is shifting it towards the end of the pipe, and it's just binding. I had a little dig around and I've got this. Yeah, I think this is a flange for a vent. I'm just going to stick this on the bottom of the pipe so that the felt is resting here and that won't catch on that, and this will obviously keep it away from the edge of the pallet, which will hopefully make it spin more easily. I'm now thinking I do need to get up on the roof to nail the felt down, and arguably the felt being on the roof now makes it a lot less slippy, a lot less likely to fall. I don't want to take too many risks, he says. What I'm thinking is I think this dolly could act as a working platform. So I'm going to upgrade the attachments for this to something a bit more meaty. And then I might be able to actually physically get on this, because once my weight's on it, it's not going to flip over that way and slide down. So it's sort of a rolling handle slash ride-on thing. And I feel like that'll be pretty good. Well, this is pretty sketchy. I am currently sat on top of the roof. Now, I'm trying to evaluate my next moves. I need to felt this side, which is harder to do because it's right up against the bushes. I did this side from the ladder. That was quite easy. I used the dolly, or the cassette, as I was calling it earlier. So I need to put this lower felt on first, but there's not a lot of room down here to do it, to get the ladders in and all that good stuff. I've toyed with the idea of sitting in the dolly. I've reinforced it with these lug screws, and that will hold. That will hold. It's really uncomfortable. So I've got an old chair down there. I might just go and nick the seat off of it and screw it to here so I've got somewhere to sit. But I can't sit at the top. I have to sit at the bottom because that's where the felt's going to be. And I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can. If I go all the way to the bottom, answers on a postcard. I think out of 10, I think we're probably at 6. I mean, if I fall down there, it's just bushes and holly to break a leg. I'm not going to die, but, I could be injured. I don't know. But the first thing I actually need to do is repair a couple of boards here. So I'm going to do that first, have a little bit of a think, and then try and get this bit of felt on here. Then I'll do the top one. This thing worked brilliantly for the top one. And then it's the main top one, which is this one, which I will be using this dolly to go up and down with me on it to nail it in, because I think that is okay up near the apex. Let's see how we go.